Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Round 7 for the RSRA Super 2 E-Series, ladies and gentlemen. A very big warm welcome to you wherever you are watching from this evening, all around the world on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. Coming to you live from Emilia-Romagna in the region of Italy for the live pictures of Imola tonight for the first endurance round of the 12-week season. We are over halfway through the season now, ladies and gentlemen, all starting to fire up. Matt Davis, JP, the director, going to be bringing you all the live action tonight for your Monday Night Motorsport here at Imola. 51 grueling laps, what the drivers have been practicing very, very hard for all week long. And what a championship it's led up to be so far. Sebastian Vandal, he just has not been able to conclude a race victory and be the challenger, should I say. He's been such a great performer all season long so far, but hasn't been able to put those 1%ers together. Dave Coleman, he's a formidable force, the current championship leader. He's in fine form at the moment. That man is absolutely superb. David Nash had an absolute shocker last week on what was the tribute round for Anzac on the 25th of April. And that was a very heartfelt round for him. He just did not have it all together that round, and it started for bad and just ended up worse for him later on throughout the race. The top 10 has been the big talking point all season long so far, ladies and gentlemen, where it's been mixed up. There's constantly different drivers. And again, the top 10, as you see at the moment, enduring with 8 minutes to go in qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. The top 10 has changed once again. A couple more new names up in the board, but it's good to see Nash back up in there. Jamie Davis, a big fan of Imola, as we can see, he's sitting in third at the moment. We know he's a formidable force to reckon with as well. That's if he can be consistent throughout the race. We know he likes to burn those tyres up. And what's going to be a grueling race for them tonight, can he put down that hard lap and the hard laps and get it to the front and come home victor tonight. Let's get into the nitty-gritty business, though, ladies and gentlemen, and find out what is happening tonight. 51 lap endurance race, first of the 2022 season. Before we go on to some more super sprints and sprint racing, we're in Italy, Emilia-Romagna, ladies and gentlemen, for a 4.91 kilometre track, 19 turns, 80 kilometres an hour on pit lane. 2nd of May 2022 is your race date, and 51 laps tonight. 250.4 kilometres in total distance, 49.5 litres on board to start off with, and 4 litres of burn a lap, which is going to, if my numbers are correct, it's going to serve us to be pushing more likely to a 4-stop race tonight, unless the drivers can do some immense amounts of fuel saving, and a few safety cars may be coming out on track, which will definitely help the drivers. 3 tyres, though, which signifies to me if it's going to be a 4-stopper, they're going to be double stinting both these sets of tyres. 1 to start on with, 2 to choose between the 4 pit stops that it may turn out to be tonight. 26 degrees out in the air, 26 degrees on track. So very, very even there, ladies and gentlemen. 12 kilometers an hour in south southerly direction for the wind speed. Last season's winner, Dylan Rudd, who also set the lap record in the race at the 141.85. The driver's not in qualifying, nowhere near that. So Dylan Rudd obviously had the condition to an absolute T tonight. And just want to make a very big shout out as well, as I just got a quick message on the Discord here from our Jono from Race Control. It's all the best to him and Shez tonight. They're bringing home little bubs for the very first time. So a warm wishes to them for the first night at home with little Hunter. We wish them all the best tonight, and hopefully it all goes well. On to the championship points, ladies and gentlemen, as qualifying is still underway. Sebastian Vandal, your current pole sitter, followed closely by Dave Coleman, or not should I say closely? Actually very close, 4/10 of a second, mind you. So, sorry, I was reading the last lap, not the best lap. Dave Coleman closing in on Sebastian Vandal in qualifying, but we'll get those championship points up on screen. And the man that we're just talking about, Dave Coleman, 882 points, out by 60 points over Alan Dawson. And a big talking point there as well, JB. We'll bring that in once we let the championship points scroll on through after the top 10. Alan Dawson, a name that we're not so familiar with, has been extremely consistent all season long, this tie with his teammate David Nash. Dan Palomant in 4th position, Jamie Davis in 5th, Tony Gaffer in 6th, Jason Cooler in 7th, Matty Monday in 8th, Stephen Martin and Lee Crowhurst will round out your top 10, ladies and gentlemen. JP, a very big warm welcome to you. I mean, it's obviously the start of the broadcast is always a busy for you, so I'll let you chime in right now that we've got the formalities out of the way. Big warm welcome to you, mate. How are you? And Alan Dawson is a name that we haven't seen so often in previous seasons, but it's finally his time to shine, and he's up there challenging for that championship podium.
Yeah, good evening, Matt, and good evening, viewers. Yeah, look, Alan's been fairly quiet the last few seasons, but he's coming on strong now, and yeah, he is starting to mount that challenge for the championship. Whether it's a little bit too little, too late, time will tell. But this should be a real exciting race tonight. 51 laps, anything can happen.
A little too late could be the question, but I mean, we've got 4 rounds to go in Queen tonight, so that's four rounds to go. I believe five more races to go. So there's a super sprint round. Not to mention that there's Bathurst at the end of the year as well, so we can't forget about that. It all takes is for Dave Coleman to have an absolute shocker of a night. Have a DNF where he doesn't score points, or he does score points, very minimal points, whether it be 10, 5, 10 points. That allows Dawson to come up and really start to shine on top of that.
Yeah, look, mate, you're 100% right there. All it takes is one bad round, one dot round. Remember, we don't have any drop rounds in this series, and everyone's back in contention again. So, yeah, this series is all about consistency. So, yep, it's, wait and see.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're digging down on qualifying. We just saw Jamie Davis make a bit of a mistake, trying to get out of a qualifying car's way. He was obviously out on his outlap. Made a big fumble. You can see their cars darting left and right, trying to get out of the way. Van Dahl does the same thing behind one of the Century Motorsports boys. As the juiced entry, I believe, of, I think that might be, I'm not sure who that one was. I keep forgetting which one the pink one is. I know Braden O'Loughlin's the blue one in the Super Series. I keep forgetting the pink one. We'll find out. We'll get those overlays up on screen for you as well, ladies and gentlemen. But slower cars have obviously got to get out of the ways of the guys on the flying lap. Otherwise, it's class competing in qualifying. That's why you saw Van Dahl and one of the Century Motorsports boys dive out of the way. Jamie Davis try and get off track, try and get out of the way of these drivers. If they get impeding in qualifying, it's instant pit lane penalty start, and that's not where they want to be, and that's exactly what happened to David Nash last week. That's how he had such a poor performance, especially around Road Atlanta. It was such a hard track to overtake on if he didn't have the screen down the back straight. Imola, though, on the other hand, a few more overtaking opportunities to strive about. We can bring that track map up on screen to JP. We can talk about some overtaking opportunities quickly. Obviously, coming down into turns 2 and 3, the Variante Tamburello is a very big overtaking opportunity into turn 2. Another one is into turn 5 and also turn 7 if you get the run out of 5 and 6. Into turn 7, the hairpin is another big overtaking opportunity. And then the Variante Alta, another overtaking opportunity into the chicanes if you get the run up the hill out of turns 11, 12, and 13 there. Ravazza down into 17. That's another spot that you might see an overtaking opportunity as Van Dahl gets all sorts of crossed up coming out of the hairpin there in the background. You've got the right hander, of turn 16, but you're on the brakes as you're almost apexing turn 16 there. So that's going to be a very, very tricky spot to get it done at turn 17, ladies and gentlemen. So you've got yourself 4 or 5 opportunities around Imola tonight to make your overtaking moves work. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, it is a very, very long race. And JP, at the end of 51 laps, these drivers are going to be tired. It's going to be who's the fight of the fittest and who's been working the hardest this week to build up that stamina.
Yeah, look, it's a long race. Anything can happen, and you're 100% right there. It's going to be the survival of the fittest, and already we're seeing a few people fall victim to impeding and so forth. So 273 Malone McKee, he's fallen victim to impeding on car number 92, so he'll be starting from the pit lane for the start of the race. 576 So that was Steve Lanyon.
Steve Lanyon.
He had to tow during qualifying, so he'll also be starting in pit lane. So when you tow during qualifying, your laps are invalidated and you do have to start from the pits.
Makes it extremely tough, especially coming from the back of the field. I mean, the whole entire field comes past you, ladies and gentlemen, off the start line. Once they get past the pit lane control line, that's when you're allowed to leave your pit box and take after the field. But mind you, you're starting from pit lane, so you get, for instance, your first lap, maybe a Sebastian Bundell time of 1:43.54. Your first lap stands, you're sitting in pole position. The entire qualifying session would have been done for impeding. You start from the front of pit lane, so that enables you to get up onto the grid. But if you're Steve Lanyon, for instance, who is currently sitting in 22nd position, you're starting from the very back of the pit lane, so you've got the entire pit lane transit to come down before you're able to get up to race pace and really put food into it. So 80 kilometers an hour on pit lane speed limit tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That sort of makes the transit a bit faster, but Imola, a very long pit lane. So pretty much goes from almost about halfway between turns 18 and 19, and you come out after turn 1 on the run down to turn 2. So it's a very, very tricky, or very, very long, tricky pit lane to really get your grips around. And especially when you've got fresh tyres coming out on the pit lane, you're on a main straight, you want to try and get that car up to running pace as quick as possible. That's qualifying done and dusted, ladies and gentlemen. Haven't been able to comment too much on it. Sebastian Bundell is your current pole sitter. Dave Coleman, David Nash, James Davis, Tim Mulford, Dan Palmermountain, Jaden Borg, Stefan Lawrence, Owen Dawson, and Rod Hollis are your top 10. As we see, Matty Monday fall victim again to the hairpin, and that's going to be a tricky spot. The one to watch during the race, JP, especially in the opening lap on cold tyres. A lot of drivers might be coming undone there and causing a safety car.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Drivers are going to have to temper themselves at the start of the race. Cold tyres, cars are going to be squirming around. There are going to be 2 and 3 wide on track there, so really it's going to be cooler heads that are going to prevail. And look, starting from the pit lane is a disadvantage. However, you might find these guys that start from the pit lane may end up by inheriting a few positions at the start of the race purely because other people just didn't temper themselves.
That's exactly right. As we get the driver's brief underway, ladies and gentlemen, Lee Davis, our safety car driver, will make his way out on track. You can see the little speck down there in pit lane. You can also see how long that transit was from that aerial shot. Transit is such a long way down pit lane, and it's going to take drivers a lot of concentration to be able to focus and try and find their pit. They don't remember that they've got to travel down the far side of the pit lane. So obviously at Imola, that's the far left of pit lane. They're only allowed to take one bay on entry, one bay on exit. Otherwise, they get done for a pit lane violation. And that's an instant drive-through penalty for those guys. So Lee Davis out the RSRA safety car. And obviously, it's a good time right now to thank everybody who makes this possible on a Monday night motorsport, ladies and gentlemen. And that's obviously Real Sim Racing Australia, FU Suicide, SimShed Broadcasting, Goodyear Auto Care Barana. Can't do it without those guys. There's Lee Davis. He makes the first fault of the season, ladies and gentlemen. Lee Davis finds himself in the sand trap for the first time this season. He's not going to live that one down, that's for sure. He's definitely going to be adding that one to the bloopers reel of his safety car career in the RSRA, not to mention across the Nationwide Tracking System and the Nationwide Technology System series as well. Track cams for Gourmet, SDK Gaming for all the amazing overlays that we see, Overpass visuals for that astounding opening video. I still can't believe how well that is put together, ladies and gentlemen, with how everything is just formatted across it. It's absolutely beautiful. And obviously Sim Inc. Those guys, big thank you to you for everything that you do for this series. And not only just this series, but the Super series as well on a Tuesday night, which is headed off by Zach Kamen. And backing him up on the Tuesday night is myself, obviously. JP, anything, your thoughts tonight really on who may be the victor? I mean, we're talking about this in the post-race, the pre-race tonight, just before we went live on air. We know your thoughts, but anybody else that stands out you tonight that might be able to get it done?
Look, there's 4 or 5 drivers that could easily get it done tonight. The secret is though, is to be calm. You know, when those red lights go out and the racing starts, you don't want that red mist to descend. You can't win the race by being first at turn 1, but you can certainly lose the race if you do something wrong. It's going to be a long race. It's all about survival of the fittest. It's all about maintaining, being consistent tonight, and just being able to control the car.
That's one thing that's going to be key around here tonight, isn't it? Trying to control the likes of Imola. It's very undulating. It's one thing to note, ladies and gentlemen, the undulation around Imola is quite significant. I mean, it doesn't look like much from the screens of iRacing, but don't forget, the Formula One was hosted 2 weeks ago. Actually, I think it was last week. My apologies. On Sunday night, and the camera angles coming out of the hairpin, it doesn't look like much there, but that hill is actually rather steep, and you don't realize how much Imola actually undulates around here. The rises, the crest, everything around Imola is very, very big. So the cars do get loose, and they're going to be very, very hard fought on the tyres tonight as well, and potentially being a 4-stop race tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be the big call: is can these drivers look after their tyres so they're able to last the distance if this does turn into that 4-stop race. And JP, I guess that's another thing with the endurance race tonight. If this does stretch out to a 4-stopper, that's a new thing being thrown at these drivers tonight.
As always, we're trying to challenge these drivers, and it's all going to be down to pace, strategy, and just keeping your car in in one piece. Being on the lead lap, being in touch with the leaders, covering them off, and then those last 10 or 15 laps getting ready to race.
Going to be a very slow race tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a lot about tactical decisions and when they're going to push and when they're going to hold back on the cars. How they're going to try and see if they can squirm some other drivers into making those fatal mistakes that may cost them the race, or put them into pit lane for some repairs, or drop them off the pace with just a little bit of aero damage due to their own fault by the pressure that's applied to them from that attacking driver. Or is it going to be one of those, almost called processional races, where it's a bit follow the leader, which is what endurance races are about. It's all about taking your time and trying to get to the end where it's that 15-lap stint. But drivers are going to be lining up on the grid very, very shortly. There they go now, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll get onto the grid for you, find out where everybody's starting from. Sebastian Varndal and David Coleman off the front row once again. Row 2 will see David Nash, Jamie Davis, Tim Mulford, Dan Pallamountain out of row 3, Stefan Lawrence, Jaden Bork, Stefan Lawrence out of row 4, Alan Dawson, Rod Hollis, row 5, Brian Cooper, Lee Crowhurst out of row 6. Row 7, we've got Jason Schooler and Peter Kelly lining up. Adam Simpson, Justin Pennefather occupy row 8. Row 9, we'll see Matty Monday and Lorne McKee, who will be starting from pit lane. Tony Gaffer, Stephen Grumley out of row 10. Row 11's got Steve Valler and Stephen Lanyon, the two Steves there, and then Stephen Martin and Andrew Johnson out of row 12. And then riding up onto the back of the field, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Foss and Braden O'Loughlin out of row 13, and then Jeff Eddy rounding out the back of the field there in 27th position. Waiting for those green lights to go racing, ladies and gentlemen. Or should I say the red lights up on screen before the green flag drops from Barney, the flag man. Who's going to be the victor tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Leave us a comment in the thread below who you think will be victor tonight after 51 grueling laps. 4 litres of fuel burn a lap. That's the number that the drivers are going to have to try and manage. Can they drop that down to about 3.5, 3.4 litres a lap? Maybe even lower, but that's going to be dropping right off the pace. Is it going to be an all-out sprint, just go for hell, or is it going to be a nice secluded, or should I say, processional, trying to get the word out here, JP.
Oh, there's going to be nothing nice and processional about the start of this race, I can assure you. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong, first to turn 1, and then they'll be racing. I can tell you right now that these guys are going to be pushing hard for the entirety of the race.
Let's find out what's going to happen. Is JP going to be right on the money, ladies and gentlemen? We know these Super 2 Series guys like to turn up the spice meter to 10. They love to put on the action for everybody at home and all around the world, wherever you watch from. Thank you very much. If you are just joining us this evening, coming to you live from Imola, ladies and gentlemen, for our first endurance round of the season. Round 7. 4 more rounds to go, including this one. 3 after tonight. Another 5 more races. Still got another super sprint to go as well. Who's going to be crowned victor at the end of this season? Dave Coleman, your current championship leader. Is it his night to keep on going, or is he going to have an absolute shocker and one to forget? We're going to find out very momentarily. Race control, keeping these drivers on the grid for a very, very long time. That's not what you want to be if you're a driver. Varndale off the front row with Coleman. Can Varndale get the run down to turn 1? What can Nash and Davis do from row 2? Are they going to be able to get the jump? We know Nash is good off the starts. Look further back in the pack. Alan Dawson sitting down in 9th. Can he creep up throughout the race? Maintain where he sits in the championship. He's currently tied with his teammate at the moment. Will there be team orders to allow David Nash to go up into that second position to fight for the championship? Or is Alan Dawson going to try and take it away from Nash? We know David Nash has been up there once before and just missed out on the crown.
I think
Here we go. Now you've been told. Red lights are up on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go green flag racing at Imola. Sebastian Varndale gets a flying jump off the line. Down a little bit by Dave Coleman, and James Davis is going to capitalise on that one. David Nash up the inside of Coleman now into turn 2. Varndale through nice and clean. 2 wide through the chicane. And everybody's through nice and clean. That's a very impressive start by the group tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As Varndale makes the run down into Varianza Villeneuve. 5 and 6. Now to 7 into the hairpin.
And now we see the advantage there of pole position.
Pole position starts on the inside, gets the run into turn 2. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, turn 1 is on the main straight. Get confused by the chicanes, turn 2 and 3. That is why. Varndale out to a 1.4 second lead so far. Coleman, Nash, Davis, Bolton. Hello Mountain, Borg, all fighting it out at the moment for that second position. On board now with David Nash. He chases after Coleman. Down through. Turns 11, 12, 13. Coleman runs wide. Nash is going to capitalise. But has a little bit of square. Nash gets it so far up the Varianti Elsa. The second chicane. Davis up the inside of Coleman. Do they make contact? No. But Coleman runs wide. Davis capitalises again. Action on lap 1, ladies and gentlemen. Down through 16 they come. So Varndale, Nash, Davis, Coleman, Mulford, your top 5. Look at the train for second position so far as Sebastian Varndale skips away. Up to a 51.
Yeah, look, he's all but checked out, but look, I think that lead's going to be eaten into what he's got to do now. He's just got to control the race from where he is. Don't push too hard. Jamie Davis is absolutely on a charge. He's got a point to prove now after last week. He wants to get back up the pointing end of the field.
He does. He likes to go for that off-track excursion into the grass, and that's going to cost him. Mulford's going to come up on the inside of him now and try and take it away through the second chicane. That's not going to happen. Dan Mountain now tries to capitalise on Mulford, trying to attack Davis. Coleman gets past Davis as well as with his little off-track excursion. That's not going to help Davis at all. Varndale just skipping away, almost out to a 3-second lead, ladies and gentlemen. And Nash is in hot pursuit of that one. He's slowly skipping away over Coleman and Davis. What I'm impressed though so far though, JP, is the start of this race. 2 laps of hard-paced racing. Fast-paced, should I say, not hard. Fast-paced racing. 2 by 2 through the chicanes. No touching. Everybody's still out on track, running very, very cleanly, and not many positions gainers. Dan Mountain makes a mistake. He's down 10 positions now, so Dan Mountain has made some form of mistake.
Yeah, 100%. And this is what's worked in Sebastian's favour. You know, the two right down to P10 have been fighting for position. The first five there have been jostling for position on the first lap, and it's allowed Sebi to get out to a little bit of a lead. Now David Nash has been able to clear out from Dave Coleman. We'll see if he can start to track Sebastian Vandel down. Just to give you an idea, the last lap, Seb did a 1:43.97, Nash 44.70, Coleman 44.74, Jamie Davis a 45.70.
Big difference in lap times there, isn't it, JP? Sebastian Vandel is on a whole nother level at the moment. But Coleman is slowly starting to reel Nash back in. He's only down to 0.7 at the moment. So this is going to be a little bit of a tug of war. Nash is going to take Coleman and try and skip away. Coleman's going to try and come back to Nash. As I mentioned last week, it's the strengths and weaknesses throughout the lap. To see Dan Palomount up the inside of, Dan Palomount's actually so we'll see if we can get a replay of that one, but I believe that's his teammate of Lee Crowhurst bailing out with Jason Fuller at the moment, with Justin Pennefather just behind them. Pennefather has a look around the outside. Can he have a dive up into turn 11? Not enough for him. He's there. He makes a little bit of contact, a little bit of a lock up by Palomount. Both Pennefather. Matty Monday wants in on this as well, and this is middle pack, ladies and gentlemen. The battle for 11th was on 15th to 11th. Look at the freight train behind him. Lee Crowhurst does enough. Look at turns 14 and 15 to hold off. Braden Borg, Dan Palomount. Palomount makes a little bit of contact with Holford. All up the inside of Palomount now. At the hairpin. This is the replay, ladies and gentlemen. Palomount runs wide. A little bit squirmy. Alan Dawson now on the inside of Palomount. Palomount gets past him. Turn 11, 12 and 13 here.
Maybe it's here.
Make a mistake on the exit of 13. Very easy to do there. Oh, might be a slowdown. No. Out on the track. Might be the slowdown for Palomount, though. I believe. Lost in 10 position. Very big slowdowns around here, ladies and gentlemen. You do incur one around Imola. So, the driver will be very weary of that one. 43.5, Sebastian Vandel, fastest lap of the race. David Nash, a 43.9, Coleman, a 43.8. So those three drivers, the only drivers at the moment in the 43s, the high 43s. Vandel goes mid 43, that's Coleman 11. Davis, Bolford, Borg, Dawson, Lawrence, Cooper, Hollis, top 10 so far, lap 4 and 1. Coleman and Davis, and Nash on the screen. Coleman in the middle. Motorsports entry, Jamie Davis, the auto serve, right one. David Nash, very well known of that livery and the number 911. Called a few times last season, 2 seasons ago, should I say, with David Nash. Just race after race after race, constantly winning. Matty Monday, this is on Peter Callis. Peter Callis managed to find his way around Matt Monday at the moment. Matt Monday's dropped off Pennefather and Crowhurst. Ends off trailing Peter Kelly, moving down the main straight, cupped in, up in the slip through turn 1 they go. This is where you get the move done. Down to the barriers of Tamburello. Turn 2 and 3 in the first chicane. Monday up the inside, clean move.
Yeah, textbook move by Monday there, and great situational awareness there by Kelly. Just to leave the door open for him. He knew he was beside him, and he just let him go through.
Right, what about the start of the race sort of underway, like JP, and we've gotten through those first 4 or 5 laps. This is where the drivers have got to now tone it back just by that, tone it back a little bit, start to focus on those fuel numbers that they've got to try and hit, and start to really just get that flow around the track going. Look after the tyres and look after that fuel.
Yeah, that's right. Now's the time that these guys start to get into their rhythm. They start to, you know, it's a long way to go. We're 5 of 51 laps, so it's all about getting into that race rhythm, being patient, looking for the opportunities for the car in front. And oh no!
Oh, no!
Monday did that all to himself.
Monday lights up the rear tyres and just gets contact by Peter Kelly on the way through. There's nothing to look at there for race control, which is good. They're going to have a quiet night on that one. Monday just comes out of Barry Anti-Alta. Lights up, catches a little bit of curb, jumps on the throttle early. Car was not square enough. Lights it up on the rear. Gets a bit more of a helping hand from Peter Kelly. Peter Kelly did check up. I believe it was Tom Foster who gave him the hurry along as well into the back bumper, and that's cost Peter Kelly the spot as well. So Peter Kelly gained one, then lost one, all within the space of a couple hundred metres.
Yeah, look, that was really disappointing for Matt Monday. You know, and as we were saying, you know, now's the time to sort of find your race rhythm and not push too hard. Unfortunately, yeah, he just lit it up. Kelly had nowhere to go, got into the back of Monday and turned him around. But yeah, look, I don't think there's going to be much to see there from race control.
Definitely not. At the moment, on board with Tony Gaffer and that was Stephen Martin. This battle right now for the 14th position. Do that on your timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Lap 6 at 51.
Now, I'm going to throw this out there. Now, Sebastian Vandel, he's currently in a league of his own. His last lap was a 1:43.76. Everyone behind him is in the 1:44s. Are they conserving fuel and playing a fuel game here and just letting Seb get out to a lead?
That's a very good question, actually, JP, and one that you'd probably have to actually ask Sebastian, I guess. I mean, out to a 5.1 second lead at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very big margin. A 1:43.8 last time round. What Nash does this time, Nash does a 1:44.7. So Barndale's on the loud pedal. He's obviously going for gold. He wants to get this lead as open as he possibly can. There's a couple of strategies to unfold as well, JP. Obviously, if it's going to be a forced-off for these guys, it's going to run dry. So look for lap 12 to be the pit. So 36, lap 12 times that by 3. That's lap 36, which is a long way away from lap 51. So that's going to be a pretty big fuel save. It's going to be a splash and dash. Regardless, it's going to be a four-stop race. Now looking at it when you add the numbers up. That's a very big fuel save. Now, safety car can come out. That'll give you 3-4 laps. Thereabouts. As Dan Palamount goes fastest lap of the race, 1:43.57. Dan Palamount's found some form of pace somewhere and he's on the loud pedal now. He's minute 19 down at the rear of the field. So he's got a lot of work to do, but he's gone fastest lap of the race. Now, is it going to be one of those stints from Seb where he goes a triple stint on these Dunlop slicks instead of the double-double? That's going to be the big question amongst these drivers tonight.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, obviously these guys know that it's early in the morning here, so the track temperature's down. As the race progresses, the track temperature's just going to get higher and higher. So perhaps Seb's making hay while the sun shines, so to speak, excuse the pun, and just seeing if you can drive away from the rest of the guys. The best place to control the race is from the very front, and at the moment he's got control of the race to a tune of 5.3 seconds.
All well and true, good to have the control of the race and say to these drivers to catch it. If we look further down the pack, I mean, everybody inside the top 10, Nash, Colvin Davis, Bolton, Dawson, Lawrence, and Cooper, they're all in the 1:44s and lapping the consistent 1:44s at the moment. So that might be these guys, as you said, saying, right, let's just let you go have a lead. You're going to make a mistake at some point along the way, whether it be burn out your tyres, burn out too much fuel. We're going to save, try and go an extra lap or two on these stops and make up the time. to you on strategy. So this is going to be the big. It's going to be the big talking point of the race, should I say, JP? Is how are these drivers going to manage what Sebastian Varndal is currently doing? He's now 5.7 seconds abreast over David Nash. So he's really, really on the loud pedal now.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, it may be a talking point, it may not be, but aptly put by Brenton Nitschke, it really doesn't matter if Varndal saves or not with the lead that he currently has. So what Varndal needs to do now, he just needs to focus, keep doing what he's doing, start controlling the race from the front, not push too hard. He's got a decent lead. If he maintains that, you know, he should be okay.
Lap 8 of 51, ladies and gentlemen. Right now is probably a good time to crank up the volume. You're going to be getting a couple of them tonight as well, ladies and gentlemen. We're on the board with Sebastian Varndal, our director says. So on board with Sebastian Varndal. Crank up the volume, ladies and gentlemen, and listen to a flying lap around Imola. Ladies and gentlemen, Sebastian Varndal taking you for a flying lap around Imola. And during the process of that, Jamie Davis has got around David Coleman. So we'll fly to a replay of that one. Find out how this happened exactly through the first chicane. The second chicane. Oh, is that? No, it is the first chicane, my apologies. And Coleman runs to the inside. I think Coleman lets him go nice and easy. So that's a slowdown maybe being served by Coleman. Very strategically as well. And you can serve these slowdowns quite strategically, JP. You've only got button off a little bit, but you've got, within the iRacing server, you've got, I believe it was 25 or 30 seconds to serve this slowdown. And if you can do it by backing off the throttle just enough where you can not lose too much to the guys in front. But Jamie Davis has also got around David Nash as well in the meantime. So Davis is on a flyer at the moment. Really starting to push. These three drivers have dropped down into the 146s. That's allowed Mulford and Borg to come up into him. And Borg and Mulford are battling it out at the moment in the background there. That's through turn 9, ladies and gentlemen, now.
Nice move by Mulford on Borg there.
Very nice move.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that was really great racecraft of David Coleman. You know, whether he got a slowdown or whether he just got a bad exit there, he knew he was compromised. He stepped aside. Not worth pushing the issue. 10 lap, you know, we're in lap 10 of 51. You know,
Jaden Borg up the inside of Mulford now.
That was a gutsy move.
Sorry, JP, as you were saying. A quick replay of Jaden Borg to Mulford here, ladies and gentlemen. Resume with what JP had to say.
Just got a much better exit there.
He did, didn't he? Looked like he flew through and just took a dive, but he had that exit, he had the run, and Mulford knew he was beaten. That's the racecraft that we're just talking about with Dave Coleman.
Well, that's it. You know, I mean, these guys are now knowing when to race and when to let go, and when they're letting go, they're able to race on and push on and race for the position again.
There we go, Jaden Borg in the pits. He's the first to take a pit stop, ladies and gentlemen. That's an early one. How long is his pit stop? We'll let you know. That's going to be the board, the marker. 17.9 seconds is the pit stop for Jaden Borg. So that's not including transit lane down the pit lane. You're probably going to be looking at about 30 seconds thereabouts.
So this is
Down
pretty
pit lane,
interesting.
now he's out.
This is pretty interesting here. Now, Jamie Davis has released himself from that battle between Nash and Coleman, and he's already put a gap on those two.
He has 1.6 seconds. 1.6 seconds. It's a little bit too late, though, because Varndell, JP, 8.8 seconds up the road from Jamie Davis. That is an astonishing margin. And Jamie Davis so far is not able to take it out. Sebastian Varndell now goes to 9 seconds. So Varndell in another league right now. Davis, though, has managed to put the hammer down 2 seconds over David Nash. He's cleared himself from this battle. So Jamie Davis, he wants to catch Varndell and go for the lead of the race.
Well, we've seen Davis do it before. We've seen him make up ground on another driver before, and he can do it again. And let's have a look at this at the lap time history here and see where the differences are. Now that Jamie Davis has cleared himself from that race, let's see if he's able to actually put any distance between or make up any distance between himself and Varndell.
Going to be the talking point is that we're on lap 12 now, so we're going to be looking at these guys coming in for fuel very, very shortly. This lap, no doubt, pit lane is probably going to start lighting up. Steve Lanyon into pit lane now, so another pit stop underway throughout the field. So Lanyon comes in on lap 11 or the end of lap 11.
So this is going to be really telling to see what these guys do. If these guys go through one extra lap, you know that they have been fuel saving. Whereas if they're in at the end of this lap, that's it for them. I think we worked it out. It was somewhere around about 12.3, 12.4 laps per tank.
It was.
So really, it's in this lap if they haven't been able to save any fuel.
On sport at the moment with Jamie Davis. Watching him fly away. Nash, over Nash, he's 3 seconds now ahead of Nash, Coleman and Mulford. Dawson, Lawrence and Cooper all duking it out right now for that third position. The five-way battle for third position right now, ladies and gentlemen. Nash and Varndell take control of the race. Varndell coming down into the final corners, along with Davis. Varndell going across for in the pit lane. Varndell in the pit lane. What does Jamie Davis do? Does he react or does he go an extra lap? There he goes. He's in the pit lane. Now watch Nash and Coleman. What do they do? In the pit lane. Coleman goes for one more.
Around again.
Mulford goes for one more. Dawson goes for one more. Cooper comes in. Lawrence goes for one more. Hollis is going as well. The Coleman, Mulford, Dawson, Lawrence, and Hollis, they go for the one more lap. And a father as well. So a couple drivers in early. Varndell with a long stop, 21.2 seconds for Varndell in the pit stop. What does David Nash do? He's at 15 at the moment in box. Jamie Davis, 21.12, so that's about on par.
And more importantly, Varndell gets out in clear air.
Varndell, not a soul in front of him at the moment. 9 seconds behind Thomas Foster, who's probably most likely going to be pitting this lap round. Jamie Davis, though, finds himself behind Jaden Borg. So a little bit of traffic. Borg's managed to get the cut over Jamie Davis right now. That's a very good move there by Jaden Borg, effectively sitting himself in currently second position, JP.
Yeah, brilliant move by Borg there. Done exceptionally well. Didn't even see that one coming.
He did 2 laps before everybody, mind you, as well, ladies and gentlemen. So a very smart move by Borg. Got himself into fresh air, put the pedal to the metal. And his last lap around was a 1:44.62. So not far off his best lap either. But for some reason, it has worked for Jaden Borg. And he's found himself in front of Jamie Davis, sitting effectively P2. Coleman, Mulford, Dawson, Lawrence, and Hollis in. Pettifather is going to come in as well by the looks of it. Yes. lap 13 laps to a tank. That's about the roughly what we're going to be getting tonight, ladies, or end of lap 13, start of lap 14, should I say.
All right,
14
Coleman,
laps
Mulford,
tank.
Lawrence, Hollis, all in their boxes. Now this is holding up Vandel.
Arndale skips around them on the main straight. How far away is he going to get from these guys who had pitted that extra lap later? 22 seconds to Coleman in the pit. That just goes to show how much extra lap takes out of your pit lane box time. An extra second. And Varndale's still 8.7 seconds over Jaden Borg, who's now effectively P2. He's up 5 positions. Jamie Davis sitting in your P3. Ryan Cooper up 4 positions. The biggest mover of the race so far, Stephen Martin. He's managed to jump himself 8 positions tonight. Biggest loser, Dan Palomount, currently sitting in 22nd position. Jaden Borg with the move of the night so far, ladies and gentlemen. The strategy call came in early. He came in on lap 10. 17.92 stop as well, so a lot less than these guys out in front of him, but a lot less fuel to take on board as well. So this might be a very big strategy call by Jaden if he can get this working for him, which effectively it might not happen. It's depending on how the race turns out, if it's a 4-stopper, but he might be praying for that ultimate safety car or 3 or 4 on this race, JP.
Yeah, interesting strategy. Sounds like he's trying to play some reverse strategy there. It will be interesting to see how that plays out for him. We're sitting on board here with Justin Penfather at the moment. He's done really well, up 4 positions. Great first stint for him in the SimShed Broadcasting liveried Iridium Sim Sport car. So, yeah, go Justin, mate. Well done.
Steve Lanyon, Stephen Martin, Tony Gaffer, 6, 8, 4, 5 for those 3, should I say. A few big movers so far in the race, especially once it started from pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. On board, though, with Dave Coleman. He's currently sitting in 4th position, trying to hunt down Jamie Davis. He managed to pip David Nash on the strategy call there as well. They're currently 4.8 seconds behind Jamie Davis in the front 3.
Well, actually, he didn't pip David Nash. David Nash ended up by getting out in front of him. David Coleman just got that position back on the main straight there.
Well, I just missed that one. I was too busy looking at my timing board and not what's happening on my screen, ladies and gentlemen. So that just goes to show how much is going on behind the screens in this end of the universe. But 15 of 51, still a very, very long way to go. Is there any place that's grueling enough cars to get around? 51 laps is grueling enough in any car, but 51 laps around Imola is definitely a grueling track to try and do. We thought Bathurst was hard, ladies and gentlemen. Imola's probably just as hard as Bathurst. Such a beautiful track to come around. Varndale, Borg, Davis, Coleman, Nash, Mulford, Dawson, Cooper, Lawrence, Hollis. Your top 10 as you see on the timing tower on your left-hand side of the screen, ladies and gentlemen. You can also see the positions gained and lost from those drivers. Red number in position 4, that's your championship leader, number 640, David Coleman, Mission Motorsport team. Signifies he is currently the championship leader. Unfortunately, we can't put it on the cars because iRacing don't allow that just yet. iRacing, if you are listening, that'd be a fantastic addition to what is already a fantastic supercar. But if JP has anything to say with it, driving without a bonnet and a rear wing definitely doesn't suffice making the car faster. Not sure if they've managed to fix that yet or not, JP.
Yeah, no, they haven't managed to do anything about that much to my, and I'm sure the chagrin of a lot of V8 supercar drivers. But anyway, press on. No need to say too much more about that one. So yeah, this is a really good battle here. I guess the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, it's sort of, they've stretched out now. They've got themselves about a second between each car now. So they're starting to stretch themselves out a little bit. And the only real pressure that's been applied at the moment is Matt Monday on Steve Grumley and Jamie Davis on Jaden Borg. So the two J's. Oh, I was about to say the two Jadens. No, the two J's fighting it out at the moment for position number 2. And when these guys start to come together and really duke it out, Sebastian Vandel's is going to be checking out even further again.
So, interesting question here. Brenton Nishke's just asked, what's the pit lane transit time? Looks like the average transit time is going to be around about 21.5 seconds. That's for the pit stop. The transit time on top of that, I think that's another about 20 or 22 seconds going through the pits.
I think roughly it is about a 35 to 40 second pit lane transit time on that one, JP. So a very long time. I mean, the guys, if you're under green flag racing and you have to make an unscheduled stop, you can kiss your position by providing that if you pit now and you're Jaden Borg, for instance, you'd be coming out around 20th position under green flag conditions. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at Jamie Davis here, looking at the body language of his car. It's just saying it's a matter of time before he makes that move on Jaden Borg. Jaden Borg is valiantly holding Jamie Davis back. And this is, once again, this is probably buying into Sebastian Vandel's race. Sebastian's almost 10 seconds up the road now, which is going to give Jamie all the work in the world to try and catch up to Sebastian. But I think he's going to make a move here.
Borg holding it a bit wide. Davis fires it up the inside and gets the move done for P2, but Borg's going to fight back through turn 9. Down into 10 and 11. Can Borg go with Davis? But Vandal is now skipped out to 10.5 seconds as these two have been duking it out.
Once again, great racing by both these drivers. Really close. Borg didn't give Davis an inch, but when he knew that he was done, he just eased off slightly and let Jamie Davis take it.
Racecraft being shown tonight, isn't there, JP, from these drivers? They know that it is a long race ahead of them. We're only on lap 17 of 51, mind you, ladies and gentlemen. It's unlike Lime Rock, where the laps just ticked away. There was about 60 laps around Lime Rock, and they just ticked away in the blink of an eye. You blinked, there was another lap going, where tonight you're able to get halfway through a beer almost, and you found yourself a lap down at Imola.
I was waiting for you to make some kind of beer reference.
You've got to have a beer on Monday Night Motorsport, JP. I mean, that's ritual, I believe, from any spectator's point of view. I mean, it's like going to the footy. You can't go to the footy and not have yourself a meat pie and a beer also. So I think the ritual for supercars is having a beer in hand.
Mate, I think if I had a beer, I'd probably put up the stock car points or something like that for tonight. But yeah, look, fantastic racing by all of these guys tonight. Really, it's been it's going great so far. And look, there's still a lot of racing left to do. I mean, yeah, okay, Vandel's got he's got a commanding lead, but anything can happen at any time in this race.
Oh, certainly can. I mean, it's now at the point where the drivers have really found the groove. I mean, it's picking away those laps now. Try not to let Davis now try not to let Vandal get too far ahead of him for the end of the race. I mean, it might be as good as done now with 10.5 seconds, but anything can happen. A mistake from Vandal, which we've seen in the past, or a safety car comes out, that gap is going to close it right up. And I think at this stage, we might not see a safety car till around lap 35, thereabouts. And we start to get really well into the race and start to get to the stamina point area where the drivers are starting to feel the fatigue start to kick in. I mean, racing for an hour is one thing, but trying to go for about an hour and a half in these cars is going to be another whole kettle of fish. As Dan Cullen Mountain goes fastest lap of the race again, a 1:43.42. I mean, if there was fastest lap points for the series, ladies and gentlemen, Dan Palomount would be taking that one home tonight, because that's a whole 10th of a second quicker than what Vandal did at the start of the race with a 1:43.57. So 1:43.42 is the fastest lap time to beat so far tonight on race pace set by Dan Palomount, ladies and gentlemen. He's all the way back in 25th position, so he's definitely got some pace to make his way back through the field, JP.
Well, absolutely. I mean, look, he's got nothing to lose, so he may as well throw caution to the wind and just get on with it. win it or bin it kind of deal. I mean, he's got a long way to go. He's sitting down in 25th at the minute. He's looking like he's one lap down on the leaders. So, yeah, look, more power to him.
He's almost a lap down on the leaders. He's just pulled up behind Andrew Johnson at the moment. He's going to make life very easy for Dan Palamountain. He knows that Palamountain's a lot quicker, so he allows him on by it very, very cleanly. And he's currently circulating, I believe, about a minute and a half. He's almost gone a lap down from the leaders. So Varndale closing in on Palamountain very, very quickly at the moment. He's almost a complete lap down about to go a lap down from Varndale. But if he can maintain this pace that he's at now, he certainly might be able to claw his way back up through the field. He's got Lorne Mackey in front of him at the moment, 15 seconds up the road. So he's got a bit of work cut out for him to catch up, but a safety car can really throw caution to the wind.
Yeah, 100%. And look, this is going to be brilliant practice for Dan now. Like I said, he's got nothing to lose, so he can just let go, get on with some hard charging, and start to learn a little bit more about the car and how far he can push the car and how far he can push himself. So this is going to be fantastic to watch.
Certainly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your top 10 at the moment: Varndale, Davis, Borg, Coleman, Nash, Mulford, Dawson, Cooper, Hollis, and Lawrence. A little bit of a mix-up inside the top 10. No one's really dropped outside of it so far. How the top 10 started is how they've sort of remained with a few positions gained and lost, but no one has actually, who started inside the top 10, has dropped outside of the top 10, except for Dan Palamountain, obviously. Brian Cooper up 3 positions, so he started from 11th, so that's the only driver to find himself inside the top 10. Stefan Lawrence might be going outside of the top 10 very, very shortly if Pennefather has his way. He's trying to catch up very, very quickly. We see, I believe that looked like
was that Jason Scholar?
That is Jason Scholar
on the back of Justin Pennefather. So Pennefather's trying to catch up to Lawrence. Scholar's all the way on the back of Pennefather, so it's going to be on for these guys very, very shortly.
I was just trying to figure that out. It looked like Stefan Lawrence. It was not Stefan Lawrence. It was I was going to say Stefan Lawrence, but it was Justin Pennefather. Sorry, I saw Andrew Johnson there in the mix of it as well. So Andrew Johnson now a lap down, which hasn't popped up on my timing screen as of yet, ladies and gentlemen. So a little bit delayed on this end. But Varndale with a demanding lead at the moment, 10.75 seconds out in front of the entire field. And he is controlling this race as we go lap 21 of 51, ladies and gentlemen. Almost coming up to the second round of pit stops. 3 more laps to go before we see drivers commit to their second round of pit stops.
So this is going to be some interesting strategy going on here. Do you take your tyres for your second round of stops? Do you triple stint your tyres and then get the fresh tyres for that last all-important stop and race to the checkered flag? What do you do?
That is the very big talking point for the strategy, isn't it? Do you do that triple stint, take the new tyres, run to the next stop, and then take another fresh set of tyres then and run to the end on fresh sets, or do you just do the double stint? I mean, it's the tyres at the moment, they seem to be working well for the drivers. Varndale still lapping mid 144s on some fairly old tyres, so if he's doing it this well, he may as well take that gamble and go for that fresh set of tyres now in this second stop and run it to the end on that set of tyres. So it's going to be very, very tricky to negotiate how they're going to be doing this one. I certainly wouldn't want to be a driver right now, JP.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot of I guess a lot of variables to take into consideration, but look, probably the one with the least amount of risk would be the double. Take your set of tyres now and drive them to the end, because look, at the minute, everybody, like you said, the tyres really haven't affected Seb that much. He's probably dropped a second now from where he was at the beginning of the race, and that also could be because the track temperatures have started to come out. Matter of fact, let's see if we can see where the track temperatures are now. And look,
there we go, 24 degrees out on track at the moment, ladies and gentlemen.
They really haven't come up that much.
No, they have. If anything, they've stayed the exact same. 74% humidity though, so the humidity is very high out on track at the moment, JP, which obviously affects the power of the vehicles. We know humidity, the denser air, plays havoc on the air fuel ratios in the cars. So these cars really aren't liking the dense air at the moment. They like to have a nice clean air in front of them where they can breathe nice and clean.
Ooh,
Van
Sebastian's got to be
Dalras
very careful of that.
wide. Sebastian Van Dal ran very wide there, and that will almost cost him a slowdown almost. You've got to be careful here as well. This will cost you a slowdown here if you're not back on the track by the end of that ripple strip. All four tyres, should I say, back on the track. It will cost you a slowdown there as well. So the iRacing around Imola picks up a lot of slowdowns very, very quickly. Lap 22 of 51 is going to come across for lap 23, no doubt. He might not dive into pit lane unless he's burnt a lot of fuel. There he goes for one more lap. So this might be, at the end of this lap, he might pit to take that second stop of his. No doubt take tyres. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, you take tyres. It only takes 8 seconds for tyres to go on, and they can go on whilst the fuel is going on board as well. So it'd be silly for the drivers not to take tyres this stop. It's a bit of a squirm coming into the first chicane. These tyres are now starting to signify that they're getting on. Jamie Davis starting to look up the same as Van Dal now. And the rest of the field, Coleman just posted 144.21. So he's fastest man on the track at the moment. Lorne Mackey posts the personal best for himself of 144.78. But Jaden Borg, he's in the pit. So this is the recurrence now for Jaden Borg. He's pitted two laps ahead of the drivers again. But now he's faced the music and he stops for 21.6 seconds in pit lane.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do the same thing twice. He's going to have to take that full tank of fuel to end up.
He was sitting up there, I believe he was in P5, P6 from memory, and he's now dropped all the way down to P18. So a very big drop, 12 positions for Jaden Borg thereabouts. So that's a very big drop for him. And once these pit stops start to work themselves out, he's 55 seconds off the leader at the moment. So once Van Dal comes in, this will be a good indication of how long the transit time actually is on pit lane as well, JP. So this will give us a pretty accurate indication of how long it's going to be. What does Van Dal do this time? Does he go for that one more juicy lap? Yes. Van Dal, one more lap, then in. Last lap, last pit stop was on lap 12. Father has a little bit of an off-track excursion. No safety car as of yet. 11 seconds in the lead of Van Dal. Jamie Davis in top pursuit. He's got Dave Coleman for company now. Coleman starting to find some pace. A 144 for lap almost for Dave Coleman. So Dave Coleman starting to turn the wick up a little bit. Nash trying to fight back as well. Doesn't have enough in the tyres as of yet. It's going to be interesting. Starting to juice up right in the middle part of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Coleman on Davis at the moment. Coming down through Variante Villeneuve, 5 and 6. Down into the hairpin of turn 7. This will be a good indication where the tyres are at. How much does the car slip? A little bit of a slide for Davis, but manages to get the traction down. Coleman very easy on the power. It seems to me now, JP, Coleman just slowly reeling in Davis. He's not in too much of a rush to get there. He knows that pit stops are about to happen. But not that much of in a rush to try and get the power down. Really looking after those tyres right now.
Yeah, look, if I was David Coleman, I wouldn't want to get too close to Matt Davis just before going into the pits. Give him a little bit of distance and then close that distance up as you go into the braking area for the pits there.
Big lock up for Jamie Davis on the rears there, JP. Almost cost himself the position coming into the final chicane of Variante Alta, 14 and 15.
Now watch these two cars. I think they'll go around again.
Yeah, we've gone around once more. Van Dal, he's gone for another lap. So he's on 13 laps or 13 laps now. Davis, Nash into the pit. So Van Dal's managed to do some fuel saving amongst all this. This is is a bit smart as well by Varndale, JP. He's now got the lead to be able to play with that fuel-saving game. He's able to drive to the a couple numbers now. The margin of the driver behind him and also the fuel margin as well, or that fuel number as well that's sitting up on his dash. So very, very smart move by Varndale, I'd say. Nash, Davis, Cooper in their pit box. Schooler in the pits as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got that. He's now got a. He's actually got some. He's got some options open to him now.
Let's see what he does this time round. He will have to be getting very, very low on fuel. He's 11.8 seconds ahead of Coleman at the moment.
It was over 12 seconds at one stage. I'm saying that he's doing some big fuel saving at the minute.
Varndale coming down through turn 16 to Ravazza.
Oh, this could be.
We got a car off track.
Oh,
That is, I believe,
Adam Simpson.
Adam Simpson.
And well done by
Varndale
Adam
into the
too.
pit.
He's this
Very
could be
big lockup.
This could be a pit lane penalty for Varndale. He came in very hot, and I think it might have been too hot.
That was a very hot entry for Varndale, wasn't it? All four tyres locked up. We see a lot of drivers do it. How long's he sit in the box for? Taking the pit stop. Does he have to sit there, though, once the pit stop has been completed? Coleman behind him. Got the wheels turned, so that signifies to me that there's no penalty right there. He's getting ready to launch out of the box. Out. Gone. See you later. No penalty, just. That is very lucky by Varndale.
That was a heart-in-mouth moment, I'll tell you.
Oh, wouldn't it be? He was guns. I wish I could see a replay of that one on board and see how hard he was actually coming.
Now, here's Pal Mountain right behind Varndale. Varndale managed to hold him out.
But Varndale didn't lose that much. He's currently sitting in 5th position, JP, after his pit stop. That just goes to show this man is on absolute fire at the moment. Alford, Dawson, Hollis, Lawrence still yet to pit. So these guys have gone an extra lap again.
So that's going to play into their hands for the last stop. Their stationary time for the last stop is going to be less than a lot of the other drivers, which is going to help them.
Yes, certainly is. Dawson and Mulford battling it out at the moment, coming into pit lane. Dawson 0.4 of a second behind. Varndale trying to warm these tyres up. What can Varndale do on some fresh rubber, ladies and gentlemen? Got Lee Crowhurst behind him, but Lee's still yet to pit. There we go. Mulford, Dawson in the pit lane.
Just a comment here from Brenton. Yeah, don't want to say it, but great driving by all so far. No safety car, and absolutely some superb driving by everyone so far.
Yeah, I'll have to agree there, JP. It's been an absolute cracking start to the race. Imola, a very tricky place to get started, especially going through the Variante Tamburello on the race start. Too wide we saw through there by nearly the entire field. And the same through Variante Villeneuve. It's such a great race start. The racecraft shown and the etiquette shown by these drivers tonight, Brendan's just been next to none. It's the best we've seen all season long, and hats off to the drivers so far of keeping it clean. So as Varndale goes 10 seconds ahead of Jamie Davis. So Jamie Davis has made up a little bit of time so far. It was stopped at 21.7 seconds in pit lane. Varndale was 22.47 seconds in pit lane. So Davis able to make up a bit of time. But what can Varndale do now on fresh rubber?
Well, is he on fresh rubber?
That's the next question. This next lap time will tell. Last time, obviously, he came out of pit lane at 2:18 was his last lap, so can't tell with that one. But this lap, no doubt, which is almost completed. We'll be able to tell very, very shortly. 25 laps to go, though, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost halfway through the race. We are actually halfway through the race. Oh, Varndale makes a mistake coming out of the last chicane of Variante Alta. Runs it a little bit wide, so that's going to hurt his time there. But nonetheless, still he hasn't lost too much yet to Jamie Davis. Still with over 10 seconds.
Yeah, he can't afford to do too many of those. He just has to take a deep breath and then get back on with it. Now, Varndale, he's still fairly young. He's quick. There's no doubt about that. But the last few rounds, we've seen him make a few, a few unforced errors that have cost him pretty dearly. So he just has to take a deep breath, refocus, reset, and get on with the racing.
Well, Alan Dawson about to come around on the next lap. So let's jump on board with him, ladies and gentlemen. Crank up the volume. He's attacking Tim Mulford at the moment. So crank up the volume, ladies and gentlemen, and listen to Alan Dawson go to work on Tim Mulford. Big news, ladies and gentlemen, at the moment. Sebastian Varndale currently in pit lane for an unscheduled stop as we're live on pictures with Alan Dawson. We believe this may be a drive-through penalty for him, unless he sustains some form of damage. Waiting to see what comes in through race control. There he is. So it's a drive-through penalty for Sebastian Varndale. That puts him out in 5th position. He hasn't dropped too much off the pace, which is a good thing. That's one good thing about having such a big lead. He hasn't dropped too far back, but he's got a lot of work to do now to catch up to Jamie Davis. 12 seconds to be exact. So Varndale now going to be on the loud pedal. Jamie Davis, your new race leader. Coleman and Cooper, your top 3. Mulford attacking David Nash now. Has a look up the inside. Nash runs a little bit wide. Mulford up on the inside of Nash. This invites Dawson as well. Mulford can't get the run. Now gets handed by Dawson. He's in a sandwich between the riot boys. Lap 29 of 51, ladies and gentlemen. And it's starting to light up on your screens. Varndale with a pit lanes penalty. Now the battle between Mulford and the 2 riot boys.
Just been informed by race control as well. Car 576 has got a drive-through penalty for contact with 411. So 576 is Steve Lanyon on Tony Gaffer. And 574 drive-through for contact with 094. So that was Steve Grumley on Jaden Borg.
Yes. A couple more pit lane penalties coming through, ladies and gentlemen. Nash into the pits. What's this for? Another unscheduled stop. Maybe another drive-through penalty happening for David Nash. Is he going to have 2 bad weeks back to back? Or is this a big unscheduled stop for him? He's in the pit box. He's making his 3rd stop now, JP. So this is big. That's a very unscheduled stop by David Nash. Maybe not enough fuel for him put in the tank by the crew. I mean, 11.4 seconds in pit lane. That might signify that maybe he didn't take tyres either.
Yeah, no, he could have taken tyres. It takes 8 seconds to take tyres, and they do that when you're taking fuel. So if he was 11 seconds in the pit box, definitely underfueled.
Underfueled and or maybe even did forget to click the. He might have unclicked the tyres. He's gone in for his pit stop and then he's forgot to click the tyres back. So who knows what's happened with Nash? But he's now sitting down 15th position and he's got a lot of work to do. Varndale trying to claw his way back. In 5th position himself and a 154.31 last time around. Wonder if we can get a replay of what happened with Varndale to cause that pit lane drive. So we're hearing it might be an unsafe.
It looks to me like it was an unsafe pit release. He pulled out in front of Crowhurst, who was on his fast lap. Agree with it. Doesn't matter whether I do or not, but the penalty's been handed down.
Just missed that. Sorry, JP. The U-Picks of the MBN world decided to play Wreak Havoc, and my internet just went completely bust. So on board now with Gaffer. Not Gaffer, sorry, my apologies. This is Brian Cooper and Jaden Borg, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Cooper's found himself up in the 3rd position now. He's up 8 as Jaden Borg goes up the inside of him. A good move by Jaden Borg up the inside of Cooper. Now Cooper's going to put the pressure back on Borg. Lap 31 of 51. This is going to help Varndale immensely. He's closing by the 10th. There he is in the background, popping up over the hill. Coleman just in front of these guys. Jamie Davis, 3 seconds over David Coleman at the moment at the front of the field. So it's still anybody's race, ladies and gentlemen, to be had at the end of the 51 laps. Safety car free so far. Down into 17 and 18. This is really going to stretch into that 4-stop radius. Brian Cooper now into pit lane, so he's taking his 3rd stop. This might be the splash and dash, JP, that we were talking about. That these drivers might be doing. Davis out in the lead at the moment. He's battling out with Adam Simpson just behind him, Braden O'Loughlin. They're both a lap down, but holding on to Jamie Davis, our leader. They're going to have to let go very, very quickly because they've got David Coleman, who's in 2nd position. He's going to be coming through. Varndale in 4th after Brian Cooper makes an unscheduled stop. Right, 1-1 of Nash now, attacking Peter Kelly. Up the inside, out of the hairpin. Now into turn 8 and 9. Sorry, 9 and 10, my apologies. Nash now setting after Steve Martin. 33 of 51. He's making his way back through the field pretty quick. Old Nashy, the veteran. Had a shocking week last week at Road Atlanta. doesn't want to have a repeat again tonight at Imola in Italy. Biggest mover so far in the race, though, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Martin up 11 positions. Biggest loser, Dan Palmermountain, still down 15. He's now worked his way back into 21st position, so he's slowly clawing back those positions, ladies and gentlemen. Teammate Lee Crowhurst currently sitting 11th. He's up 1 from where he started. Justin Pennefather up 7 inside the top 10. He's the biggest mover inside the top 10 so far, as we've got Nash and Stephen Martin now. Nash up the inside into Tamburello and gets the move done nice and clean. Through 4 they go. Nash sets his eyes amongst Crowhurst, 6 seconds up the road. Down through Villeneuve. This is the part of the race, though, now that we've got to start looking at the longevity of it. There's 19 laps to go. They're going to get racing within the next 8 laps. Now, the tyres they're due for their next stop any moment now. We're at lap 33 so far, 18 to go. So the drivers are going to have to start looking at when they're going to be wanting to take these last stops. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be very tricky to work around it. Now, it's looking like a 4-stopper. We've gone green flag so far for 33.5 laps nearly. And it doesn't look like there's going to be a safety car coming out. The fatigue side of things, as we see Van Dal now closing up onto Coleman very, very quickly, mind you, as well. The fatigue side of things is Van Dal goes up the inside of Coleman now, very, very easy. Coleman says, yep, mate, see you later. You can go by. And do you mind taking me along for the run as well? I want to try and see what you've been doing, why you're so quick. Where they want to take these stops, it's going to turn into that 4-stopper tonight for certain. They've got a fresh set of tyres now. They've got 3 sets, 1 to start on, 2 to choose from. So obviously this next stop is going to see them. Oh, big moment for Van Dal as he has a squiggle under brakes. This next stop's going to see them take another fresh set of tyres, but that's only going to get these guys to lap 49. They've still got a fuel save this last stint, ladies and gentlemen. So not only has it gone to a 4-stop race, but it's gone to a 4-stop fuel-saving race. Van Dal attacks Borg now. This is for 2nd position. Has a look up the inside, shows his nose. Borg's just going to let him go and hang there on the inside. Van Dal realises he's not going to make it. Now he's going to have a lunge down the main straight. No, Borg dives into the pits. Borg pits early. Again, Borg, remember, he's out of sequence at the moment. Van Dal skips off down the straight away from Coleman. Coleman can't catch him.
And that was really smart racing by Coleman there. He knew that Van Dal was faster than him. There's no point in trying to hold him up or race with him. You know, potentially ruin your race if you get tangled up. Let him go. He's got 3rd place covered. That's the consistency that he needs to hold on to the championship.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Coleman's just starting to show why he's currently the championship leader. I mean, he knows when to pick the battles, and right now is not when to pick it. We've got Dawson and Mulford still battling it out. This battle's been going on for some laps now. I can count it, and it'd have to be 7 or 8 laps by now, JP. This battle has been going on for. And Dawson sure will be getting tired soon, the back end of that Phoenix Racing Team entry of Timmy Mulford.
It just looks like the entire race it's been a Dawson, Dawson sort of stoush between the two of these. And if you know anything about Tim Mulford, he knows how to make the back of that Phoenix Racing Team Holden Commodore very, very wide. Now he'll be as fair as he can be, but he will not make it easy for Alan Dawson to get around him.
No, certainly not. Stefan Lawrence just gets around Rod Hollis down on the entry there to Variante Alta, the last chicane, ladies and gentlemen. So Lawrence now in 6th position, chasing after his teammate Dawson. Nash in 11th now. still chasing down Crowhurst. He's 4.5 seconds down the road from Crowhurst. Barndale, 7.7 seconds down from Davis. That could all come undone very, very quickly. Davis can make a mistake. Barndale can make a mistake. Barndale at the moment hasn't put a foot wrong so far, except for a slight pit lane penalty. But still, after that, he had that much of a lead. Pit lane penalty is only 20 seconds, so really, realistically, he only found himself 10 seconds behind the leaders. He was able to claw that back very, very quickly. Lap 36 of 51. This is going to be the time where these drivers are wanting to come in. 36 to 39, that 3-lap window. We've already seen Jaden Borg take his third stop. David Nash has taken the third stop. Brian Cooper has also taken a third stop as well. So those drivers unscheduled pit stops. Maybe that could have been for the fact they may have thought it was a 3-stopper and didn't pay attention to the fuel numbers and the race length. Didn't do their own calculations to work this out. That's all part of, I guess, JP, is the preparation into a Monday night motorsport race, isn't it? It's the drivers really got to punch in those fine numbers as Dawson really closes up on the back bumper of Mulford now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what racing's all about. It's having a look at the not only having a look at your setups, your strategy, knowing when you're going to pit. You know, having all of that information in hand as Jamie Davis goes into the pits.
Barndale answers to cover him off. No, so Barndale stays out for an extra lap. He's on par with roughly the same lap times as what Jamie Davis is doing.
You know, I think we saw Jamie Davis do that on the last stop. He came in early and Barndale stayed out for another lap. So that's going to play in his favour when it comes to the last stop.
Yes, it definitely did. It definitely did play in Davis' favour. He was able to knock a second out of Barndale. So whether or not Barndale takes the full length of pit stop or he runs a bit short, tries to play that fuel saving game, punches in a fast lap this time round. I mean, we saw what Barndale did coming in for his last pit stop, how hot he came in, JP. I mean, if you can do another repeat of one of them and get away with a drive-through penalty, or get away without copping a drive-through penalty for speeding in the lane, we could be on for a fantastic finale of what's been such a strategically played 51-lap endurance race around Imola so far.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm kind of thinking this is playing into Barndale's hands, not Jamie Davis. By being able to stay out a little bit longer than Davis, he's going to be stationary for less time on his last stop. So this could play into Barndale's hands. However, we still don't know what the play was with tyres. Did Barndale take tyres on that last stop? Did Jamie Davis take tyres, or will they be taking tyres on this stop?
Yeah, it's a very good question, isn't it? Might turn into the 4-stopper, ladies and gentlemen, that have been expected. Barndale into the pits. Can he do a big fuel save from here on in? We're already seeing Coleman doing it. Coleman's been lapping the 146s and a lot. So there he goes again. Coleman going that extra lap. So that just shows how much Coleman has really saved in fuel. He's managed to go 2 extra laps than Jamie Davis. He's been well off the pace, mind you. So that's why he allowed Barndale to go by.
But you want to talk about playing into his hands. I mean, Coleman has got that extra lap. Every stint, he's got that extra lap. So he'll be stationary for less time than any of them.
Correct. And this could really help Coleman at the end of the race. He'll be able to essentially now, if you can go at the end or hit the end of this lap, maybe the next one, that will see Coleman.
This is going to be really interesting. This looks like a really slow stop from Barndale.
Barndale stops to the 21.75. Jamie Davis stops for 14.17. So Jamie Davis with a very, very, very short stop, JP.
So what he's done is he's played the reverse strategy here. So he's done his splash and dash now, and he's going to be counting on having the full stop for the next stop. Jamie Davis has probably taken his tyres now, and he's going to be looking at making hay while the sun shines.
Don't forget that that extra little splash and dash is only a couple laps. So this is going to be very interesting. We've got lap 38 of 51, ladies and gentlemen. We've only got 13 more laps to run. So this is Van Dale's time to shine. This is Van Dale's time to go to shine, to either go hard or go home. And if he can make this work, Davis is going to be coming in for a splash and dash towards the end of the race, and this could really hurt Davis right now. But all going to pan out in the next 10 odd laps, I should say, ladies and gentlemen. We reached lap 48. Coleman into the pits, though. Lawrence into the pits. It's going to be interesting to see how long Coleman stops spawned out. He's going to be taking the least amount of fuel of anybody.
But Coleman is definitely fuel to the end. He doesn't have to save now.
No, definitely not. He's 18, 19, 20, 22 seconds in the pit box. So that's a full tank for Coleman. Coleman to the end. Van Dale now down the straight. Nash, he's in front of him, but he's still got to pit once more. So Van Dale could be fueled to the end, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a very tricky one to see. How all this is going to play out. You can't really tell who's effective at the moment either. You've got Nash with an 11-second stop on lap 29. Jamie Davis with a 14-second stop on lap 36. So that signifies to me those two don't have enough fuel just there. Jamie Davis has got pedal to the metal right now. Dawson, Mulford, Hollis. These guys are yet to get. These guys have been doing the longest stints of them all, JP, and this could really, it could play into these guys' hands quite significantly come the end of the race at lap 51. Oh, no.
Lachlan.
Manages to save it.
He's got to keep an eye on his relative here. Cars are going to be coming at him.
Plenty of clean room behind him. Not a soul to see behind Braden O'Loughlin. I think he makes the mistake here. Just coming out of the first part of Varianti Alta. Yeah, Varianti Alta takes too much curve and just kicks the back end around. Very, very lucky, though, that he's managed to shoot it into the offshoot there.
Jamie Davis is in.
There we go. Jamie Davis in the pits.
I was about to say before we saw that incident, maybe Jamie Davis made a mistake in all of that.
I think he might have. Nash goes to the lead now. Van Dale overtakes Jamie Davis. So Jamie Davis makes a crucial mistake in the pit box, ladies and gentlemen. Underfuels himself.
Now look at this, Jamie. Oh, Nash is behind a slower car. This is slowing him up. This is playing into the hands of Van Dale.
This is all turning on now. Lap 40 of 51, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming up to the dying stages of the race. And it's starting to really spice up. Nash being held up by a slower car. Davis makes a crucial mistake on pit lane. Has to stop again for 15 seconds and sees him out in P11. The slower car gets out of Nash's way finally. He can make hay while the sun shines. What can Van Dale do? Is the slower car going to let Van Dale through as well? Yes, he does. So all Van Dale has to do now, ladies and gentlemen, is just make it home. He's got to play it clean. Nash has got to stop again. He stopped on lap 29. So Van Dale, through a pit lane penalty, will find himself back to the lead, no doubt. But Nash still has to stop. And when is that going to be? Surely he's going to be running low by now. Jamie Davis allows Mulford and Pennefather past him. Now I'm going to attack back on Pennefather. Watch Nash. Does he come in now? Does he realize that he's low on fuel? Yes, he does. Van Dale back to the lead.
This is going to be a crucial fuel-saving race for Van Dale here. And don't forget, they need to make that last cool-down lap as well.
What's Van Dale got for these final 10 laps, ladies and gentlemen? Brian Cooper has found himself in second position. Jaden Borg up in third. Can the podium get mixed up once again in the RSRA Super 2 E Series on your Monday Night Motorsport? Borg applying pressure to Cooper. Nash out of his pit box. He's in 11th.
Still got plenty of laps to go. Borg just has to be patient here, find the gap, and then capitalise on it.
Coleman sitting in 4th. He's fueled to the end. He doesn't have to fuel save. He can go like the wind. Lawrence will be fueled to the end as well, along with Dawson, Hollis and Mulford.
Cooper and Borg will probably have to stop again.
Cooper definitely will have to stop again, no doubt. But has he played the longevity of the fuel saving now? I mean, he's not losing too much time to Van Dal, so that signifies to me that he's really putting the boot into it right now to try and get as far ahead as these guys as possible. This may put him down roughly in 11th or 12th position once he's made his stop. There he goes in. Cooper tries to sell the dummy to Borg.
Now, Borg stopped on lap 34. He's going to have to come in again. So this plays into David Coleman's hands perfectly. And
it really does.
If you have a look, this actually plays into Stefan Lawrence's hands because he's fueled to the end as well.
To the right, boys are fueled to the end. Lawrence and Dawson. Coleman will find himself in second, no doubt, once Borg takes his final splash and dash. Cooper comes out of his pit box.
Now, have a look at these lap times. Sebastian Vandel's last lap, a 1:45.79. He's fuel saving to the max. David Coleman, 1:44.74. He's not fuel saving.
It's going to be very interesting, isn't it, JP? 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go for a 51-lap race around Imola, ladies and gentlemen. It was meant to be a 3-stopper. It could potentially turn to a 4-stopper, and it has for some. Will it turn to a 4-stopper for Van Dal? Dawson on the loud pedal. Got his teammate Lawrence in front of him. These two trying to chase down Coleman, but he's 10 seconds up the road. There's no hope in catching him. Unless Coleman makes a mistake, but he hasn't put a foot wrong all season long so far.
Van Dal
last time round a 1:45.8, Coleman a 1:45.5. So Coleman with a bit of a slower lap.
Van Dal has the luxury
Dawson.
of the 10-second lead over Coleman, so if this is going to happen, he can still get it from here if he's able to fuel save enough.
Good. Dawson. Lawrence just allows his teammate Dawson around. That's going to play defense to the championship. Hollis now going to be attacking Lawrence. There's a bit of teammate strategy right there. Team orders for Lawrence to play the defensive part for his teammate Dawson on Rod Hollis. Sebastian Van Dal, he's got Jaden Borg closing up on him. Borg trying to really push now. Borg's going to have to come in any lap now to take a splash and dash. Coleman and Van Dal, very similar lap times. There's only 6 seconds between Van Dal and Coleman right now. Make that 7. (43 of 51). Mulford off the track somewhere. Mulford off the track big time. He's still off the track. Mulford back on now. And Mulford had a big moment at some point. That just flashed up on my screen.
There we go.
Jaden Borg dives in the pits. There's Coleman. You would have seen Van Dal rush around turn 1. Coleman sees Van Dal in his sights. He's 6.6 seconds behind. Can Coleman Gets to Varndale.
Oh.
Gets held up by a slower car. This is Hollis on Lawrence now. Dawson now sitting in third. Jamie Davis wants in on the battle as well. So Davis back on the back bumper of Hollis. JD wants the top 5.
So Brenton Nitschke's just asked us, who's our money on? I tell you what, I'm not going to put the commentator's curse on either of them. This is going to come down to the wire. It's going to be so close. You know that David Coleman is fueled to the end. Sebastian Varndale, not so sure.
It's going to be a tough one to call, isn't it, JP? I mean, it's all going to play out in 8 laps. But it's all well and good to get to the end, isn't it, JP? But as you mentioned, they've got to get around for their fuel site, their in lap, should I say? So it's going to be a tricky one. Can Varndale save enough from here on to be able to make it to the end and get back to pit lane once he crosses the finish line? What the lap numbers signify to me at the moment, that's a yes. He's doing enough. He's driving to that number and he's doing an exceptional job at it. But what can Coleman do? We know he's 110% fuel to the end. We know he can get there. Yes, there's going to be some fuel saving by Coleman. But we know he can get there. And he can get there faster than what Varndale can do it at the moment. A 155.74 plays a 145.74 plays a 145.48. So Coleman was 0.3 quicker lap round. Dawson a 144.78. Lawrence a 144.6. So these guys really starting to chew into David Coleman. They can keep posting a second faster, 1.2 seconds faster. These guys are going to be on the back bumper of Coleman, and we could find ourselves potentially, ladies and gentlemen, with a 6-way battle for the lead. Everybody inside the top 6 at the moment have find themselves fueled to the end with a little bit of fuel saving.
What about third? Brenton Nitschke, what about third? Look, Alan Dawson's doing a superb job. Jamie Davis is slightly faster, but he's got to get around Stefan Lawrence, and Stefan's not going to make it easy for him. They're racing for position.
Certainly are. Dawson is, Brenton Dawson pitted lap 39. 12 lap stint signifies to me that he can get home full steam. At full steam, he can get home. We've been seeing him do almost 14 lap stints tonight with very slight fuel savings. So this is going to really play into the hands of Dawson at the moment, considering he was able to run long all night long and pit on the lap 39. Lawrence has done an exceptional job, his teammate, playing defence. Jamie Davis has got round Rod Hollis finally. He's now setting his eyes on Stefan Lawrence. This is really starting to close in. 5.4 seconds behind Dave Coleman to Varndale. So Coleman's closed in a little bit more.
Taken almost
Coleman's
a second out of Varndale that lap.
He did 144.89. Coleman a 145.88. Sebastian Varndale. So that's a complete second there, JP. That is fantastic by Coleman. It's now pedal to the metal.
Coleman's got fuel in hand. He's got laps in hand. He's got enough time to make up that gap, to bridge that gap, and there might be nothing that Sebastian Varndale can do about it.
Look at the lap times now. We just took out half a second in a corner. So Coleman has got the loud pedal on now. He sees Varndale ahead. This is action-packed racing tonight. Just on, not so much with the battles, JP, but with the fuel saving, the strategy numbers, the whole. That's just the key part to the race tonight. And that's been the hair pulling, the nail biting, but the best part about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole strategy part of this race has been absolutely fantastic. And hats off to every one of the drivers tonight. They've all done a fantastic job so far.
said, it might be a four-stopper. It has been for some. They've made the wrong calls on their strategy, but tonight, so far, Varndale and Coleman, along with Dawson and Lawrence, have managed to make it work.
46.88 by Varndale last lap, 45.47 by Coleman. You're looking at this and you can only see that it's a matter of time. It's going to come right down to the wire.
Coleman, he might have done it just enough. He's really catching Varndale now. He can see him. Varndale can see Coleman in the mirrors. Coleman can see Varndale almost at the edge of his bonnet. What does Varndale do now? Has he saved enough, JP? Has he a real... Oh, look at Davis. Davis has got around Lawrence. He's got around Dawson as well. He's got 2 for 1 in the corner. Jamie Davis with a stellar move. That finds himself in P3 now and skipping away from Dawson. What I was trying to mention, JP, was has Varndale done enough saving in those first 8 laps of his stop to endorse the fact that he might be able to go guns blazing from here on in? As we watch what Jamie Davis has done, he's got 2 for the price of 1 here on the right. Sim Racing boys. The boys got tangled up. The Riot boys all got tangled up. That's a fantastic move by Davis up the inside.
And that plays into what I said. You know,
fielder.
just Davis was nice and patient. He saw the opportunity and he seized it. Look at this. David Coleman, 3.6 seconds behind Sebastian Varndale.
146.12 plays out to Dave Coleman on a 145.7. There's not much in it now. Coleman realizes that he's got to put even more boot into it. Varndale realizes Coleman's starting to catch now. It's really going to be on 4 laps to go. There's 4 seconds in it, 3.5 seconds in it to Dave Coleman. So Dave Coleman might have enough in the books. Now 3 seconds to Varndale. Does Coleman have enough in the tank?
Well, we know Coleman has
enough in the tank.
We know Coleman has enough in the tank. Does Varndale have enough in the tank to answer Coleman? Does he make a move now? Does he put his boot in it? Does he put another second or try to put a second between himself and Coleman? If he can do that, well, he's half a chance. Oh, big slide there. If not, this might be just a matter of open the door for Coleman when he gets close enough and let him through, take second place, and enjoy that.
Varndale wants to catch a break. He's had such a poor run, hasn't he, JP? I mean, a victory tonight would really boost his confidence in what has been such a bad run for him as of late. A second position will do just as much. He comes down now through turn 16.
Look, he can certainly hold his head up high. He's done a phenomenal job tonight. It's not over. He can still take it from here. I mean, Coleman's got to catch him, but he's also got to pass him. So that's going to be the next thing that Coleman has to tick off. So it's just a matter of wait and see now. We've got 3 laps to go. Varndale's got to make these 3 laps and the cool down lap.
146.82, 145.84. So Coleman takes more out of the time. Varndale didn't serve that drive-through penalty. He'd be really up on Coleman right now, wouldn't he, with that lead? I mean, it was just so lucky that Varndale had that massive lead to begin with when he first served it. But if he never served that drive-through penalty, he'd be miles in front right now, and this race might be his. But it's really starting to turn on now, is it? 3 laps to go, 2.2 seconds in it.
Yeah, look, I mean, we can always talk about what ifs, and we always talk about what ifs at the end of the race. It's the one that got away, but it hasn't gotten away from him yet. He's still leading the race. Coleman's in second place. He's catching him. There's 2.5 laps, the better part of 2.5 laps to go. So this is going to be right down to the wire. I can see Coleman making a move probably or trying to make a move probably on the last lap.
This is going to be fantastic. Right down to the wire, isn't it, JP? It's such a fantastic race so far. Jamie Davis with a spectacular move to take the podium away from Alan Dawson coming into Villeneuve in turn 5. Varndale has has got to hold his head high after tonight. He's just been a formidable force from the get-go, even after a pit lane infringement. Or pit lane penalty, should I say. He's clawed his way back to the front of the field. He's done it the hard way tonight. And a victory will certainly be all worth it. Coleman now 2 seconds with 2 laps to go. Coleman's got to take a second out of it. Varndale has got pedal to the metal now. A 1:45.8. Plays a 1:45 flat. So Coleman was 0.8 quicker again that lap. What's going to happen with 2 to go? Varndale really starting to push. You can see the aggression on the car has changed.
Yeah, he's taken that win to a bit of that attitude. He's saying, to hell with it. I'm either going to win this race or I'm going to run out of fuel. So he's not going to give this one up easy.
Certainly not. And he might be able to get back under his own steam at the end of this race. There may not be no victory burnout, but certainly he's going to try and get back under his own steam. 2 seconds to David Coleman. So he's managed to put a couple tenths on him so far. This is where he needs to start coasting it through the downhill sections. Just let the car roll into the corners and maintain that momentum.
He's put a little bit of time on Coleman there, but I don't know whether Coleman will get that back again coming through here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. 1 lap to go. Only a matter of corners. Through turn 17 and 18. He's got a 2-second buffer as he comes through the final corner to start the last lap. White flag is out for Sebastian Varndale. Right, the flag man waves the white flag. It's final lap. Varndale starts it. Coleman in hot pursuit. 1.5 seconds to Coleman. He's taken out half a second just between the start-finish line and the second corner. What's Varndale got for Coleman now? Can Coleman attack Varndale on this last lap? It's win it or bid it for both of them. Jamie Davis is nowhere to be seen. He's got Alan Dawson for hot company at the moment as well. Through turns 5 and 6 they go. Sorry, the hairpin they go. They just came out of 5 and 6. Out of the hairpin. 1.34 seconds. Up toward through turns 8. Now into 9. Peratella. Around 10. Then down into 11, 12 and 13 of Minerali. Got to be careful here not to run it wide and lose traction. Plays it perfect. 1.5 seconds now to David Coleman. This is closer than ever. Now through Alta. Very smooth by Varndale. Only 4 more corners to go for Varndale. Through 16. 3 more to go. Under brakes into 17 for Ravaza. Makes it through there nice and clean. He's only got 6 tenths to Coleman. It's going to be across the finish line fight. Through 18, Varndale goes. Coleman gets a good run. Now through 19, past pit lane. Sebastian Varndale is your race winner, ladies and gentlemen. A fantastic drive by the youngster. A massive drive by David Coleman from Fishy Motorsports. 4/10 of a second in it. What a fantastic race. Jamie Davis comes home in 3rd, Alan Dawson in 5th, and Stefan Lawrence rounding out your top 5. I'm out of breath, JP. That was an absolutely phenomenal finish.
Yeah, look, I'm just going to go and get my blood pressure medication now, so I'll be back at the end of the post-race show.
Blood pressure's through the roof. My Lord. My voice needs the strepsils. JP needs the blood pressure medication. And I think Varndale is going to be on the highest of all highs right now. It comes down to this lap right now. The most important lap of this man's life is right now. The drive back to pit lane. Can he get it done? He's done everything right. The pit lane penalty so far tonight. He's managed to drive back from that. And the youngster, all he has to do is limp it back to pit lane. What a phenomenal drive by Sebastian Vandal. Ladies and gentlemen, take your hats off and give a round of applause to this man right here from Abrasic Sim Racing.
Got to go one uphill section now. He's got to make this, get to the top of this, and then it's downhill for the rest of the way. And remember, he just has to cross the control line for the pit entry. That's all he needs to do. And you can see he's trying to keep the momentum up there. He almost tagged another car. I'd say he's probably, it looks to me like he's almost out of fuel already.
Well, let's jump on board, JP. Let's find out what he's actually doing right now. Let's see if there's any even shift lights on these cars right now, because I'd have to say this is all idle, ladies and gentlemen. If not, the car is off. There he, look how high he was in 5th gear. Coming out of 18, ladies and gentlemen. He sees the pit lane, doesn't even want to perform a victory burnout, doesn't want to run the risk. He's in pit lane. That signifies to him, ladies and gentlemen, Sebastian Vandal is your race winner for this evening. What a fantastic race by that youngster. I mean, he's done it tough for these past few weeks, and this is going to be such an uplifting victory for him. This is really going to put him hopefully to the front of the field and at the top for a few more races to come. That will be nothing left in the tank for that man right there. Unofficial results up on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look. Sebastian Vandal.
In the end, less than half a second.
I'm speechless. That is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's a Ford v Holden top 5. They're even across the board there at 0.4 seconds, under half a second just between Vandal and Coleman. Jamie Davis comes home in a very demanding 3rd position, 7 seconds behind. Alan Dawson couldn't quite get it done at the end. Stefan Lawrence played an amazing defense strategy game for Alan Dawson there. Rod Hollis just didn't have enough of those boys either. David Nash, after a fight back from 15th position, finds himself coming home in 7th. Jimmy Mulford had an extraordinary defensive game again tonight, made that car exceptionally wide. Jaden Borg just wasn't there on the strategy. And Brian Cooper, neither the same. He finishes just inside the top 10 there. We'll let those scroll on through, ladies and gentlemen. JP, mate, I mean, tonight, I said the top 10 will get shaken up, and it has. I mean, we see Cooper, we see Coleman, we see Dawson and Nash and that up there quite a bit. But Jaden Borg, a new name to find himself up inside the top 10 there tonight with an amazing strategy call. I mean, just the racing in general tonight, it was fast, it was hard, it was fair. The strategy was all over the place. I mean, you had guys coming in early like Jaden Borg. You had guys coming in at the late stop playing the big fuel strategy game like Dave Coleman did. I mean, it's been such a fantastic race tonight that I don't even know where to start to recap it all, really.
No, it was a brilliant race by everybody, and well put by Justin Vandal there to keep his head after a drive through. Big effort. It was a massive effort. Fantastic drive, to come back after that drive through. A lot of drivers would have probably thrown their hands up in the air and started to get a bit wild. No, Sebastian kept his focus and managed to make his way back to the front of the field. And I'd be very interested to know how much fuel he had at the end of that race.
Let's waste no time, JP. Let's get straight to the drivers' interviews. I mean, Sebastian, mate, I know you're on a high, but I'm going to let you just sit there and brood just a little bit to calm down and soak this all in. Because that was one hell of a race against David Coleman. And I mean, my hat's off to you two. That was a fantastic ending to the race. The best ending we will probably see amongst both Super 2 E Series and the Super Series all year round, I'd say. Jamie, mate, welcome back into the broadcast booth, mate. Congratulations on your P3. I mean, it wasn't an easy one. Your strategy didn't go the way that you wanted. We had Van Dal get a pit lane penalty that saw you jump to the front. We thought it was all guns blazing for you, and that was home sweet home. But unfortunately, by the looks of it, you just underfueled yourself.
Oh, that happens sometimes. It was one of those races where you had to decide to fuel save early or go hard early, and I just decided that a bit too late.
That's fair enough, mate. Look, we thought it was going to turn into a 4-stopper, and unfortunately, it did for you. And some of the guys ended up coming home with a 3-stopper. Some people did a 5-stopper as well. Depending on what happened with them. So, I mean, look, it's coming into the race tonight, knowing that it was 51 laps. It's a hard one on tyres around Imola, isn't it?
Oh, definitely a hard one. But yeah, enjoyed every lap of that one. That was especially right at the end, then trying to get through those 3 or 4 cars to try and climb back onto the podium.
Mate, you did a fantastic job. I mean, that move coming into Villeneuve around. I mean, you got the run on Lawrence and Dawson there. I mean, they had a little bit of a coming together out of Tamburello, and then coming into Villeneuve at 5 and 6, you just shot up the inside of Dawson, held it around the outside of 6, and that was the move done. I mean, mate, run us through that section. I mean, you're coming down out of turn 1. You saw him come together through Tamburello. What was your thoughts straight after that?
They didn't come together. It was Dawson. He got a bit taily out of 2, and through 3 was slow. So Lawrence just sort of checked up, and I just made a split decision. Just either check up behind and try and work on it, or just pin it and hopefully a gap opened up.
And the luck fell your way by the looks of it, mate, because you got a fantastic run. That's for sure. We're gonna fly through this one. Obviously, it's been a fantastic race, not a long one. We're gonna let everybody get out early, so hold up there, mate. We'll get some thanks from the sponsors from you very, very shortly. On to the main man tonight, our championship leader, who had an amazing fuel saving race tonight. He's allowed all these guys to go past him. We thought he's off the pace. He's not doing what he's usually doing. And Dave Coleman, I mean, mate, it all came alive for you in the last stint there. You ended up making a 8-second gap to Van Dal, turn out to 0.4 of a second as you came across the line. A big congratulations to you.
Thanks, boys. I'll be brutally honest. I think I've been relegated due to not finishing the cooldown lap, so I might have to bring in Alan Dawson. So it's probably best
no.
I don't deserve the accolades, so let someone else. The racing tonight was a credit to what the series is. So yeah, let's get some other boys up here, and you don't have to hear my voice every week.
Oh, mate, that's talk us through this while we've got you here quickly. I mean, I know I said I wanted to wrap this up early, but I mean, we've got to dissect this last couple laps for you, mate. I mean, and especially this last stint, because it was probably one of the best ending to the races that we'll ever see all year round. You came across the line with obviously 0.2 of a litre in the tank, so obviously you didn't feel your lap in. But coming up to Van Dal, mate, I mean, we saw you we thought you were fueled to the end. We knew there might have been a lap in it. Was it just go to woe coming out of pit lane, or was there that little bit of fuel saving whilst catching Van Dal in the meantime?
100% fuel saving. I knew I had to try to at least 13 and a half. I managed to get 13. I've probably seen Valdal's lights and probably used a bit, but realistically, I probably should have tried to close the gap a bit earlier and drafted him to save the fuel. But it is what it is. It was a good race, to be honest, and a credit to everyone who's on the podium and finished in the top 10. Like, yeah, the strategy was a good one for this one.
Mate, fifth place for you, nevertheless, is going to be good for the championship points anyway. So, mate, we appreciate the honesty as always. It's good to see that you've come in still and held your hand up and said I'm the chimpanzee that decided to not finish the cooldown lap and get relegated back down to 5th position. But mate, congratulations on finishing the race anyway, because Imola is not an easy track to finish.
Thanks, boys. Congratulations, podium.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that promotes Jamie Davis up to P2. So, big congratulations there, JD, on that one. Alan Dawson, welcome to the broadcast booth. P3, I mean, it was given to you, but I mean, yeah, it didn't come without a fight either. You had the battle between your teammate playing defence to Rod Hollis and the boys behind, and then all of a sudden Jamie Davis came out of nowhere.
I knew he was going. He was sitting on the relative. He did the extra fuel stop zone. He was going to become fast, and really me made a little mistake and let him go by.
Mate, this is obviously good points for you. I mean, you're finishing 2 positions ahead of your rival at the moment in the championship, Dave Coleman. So you're going to get a few more extra points added compared to him. I mean, what's that to you? You're currently sitting in second position. You're going to be your teammate now, David Nash, who you're tied with for second. What's that news for you?
It's a long way to catch Coleman, mate. I need a miracle for that one at the moment.
There's no such thing as miracle, mate. We saw with Sebastian Vandal last week after a shocker, all it had to take is a slowdown and you come across the finish line and you're disqualified from the round. So, I mean, that's all it takes. And only if you score yourself 5 points and you score yourself a race win, there's 140 points difference there, mate. And not to mention that you've also got Bathurst at the end of this season. So that's a double point round to take note as well. Mate, sit there. We'll get some sponsor thanks from you very, very quickly. On to the man of the night, though. The man that we thought wasn't gonna be able to finish where he finished after suffering a drive-through penalty earlier on in the race, but it just so happened that the 12-second lead that he had going for him turned out to be the most best buffer and best thing he's done all race. Sebastian Vandal, mate, congratulations.
Thank you. That was very, very stressful race.
Mate, yeah, I don't even know where to begin with you. I mean, there's that much that happened in your race. You checked out at the start. You had a 12-second lead. You copped the drive-through penalty for a pit lane release, and then you fought your way back from, I believe it was sixth or fifth in the field back to the front of the field after Jamie Davis ultimately underfueled himself. Mate, that's probably one of the best races you're going to have all season and the highlight, and definitely a big motivation booster for you moving forward coming to the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. After the last couple of weeks, I've had momentum definitely hasn't been with me, but after tonight, yeah, the confidence has definitely been boosted and will come back stronger and harder next week.
Mate, everybody's itching to know. JP mainly, but myself, the rest of the field, everybody watching at home all around the world on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. We know Dave Coleman ran out of fuel. We thought he was fueled to get home. How much did you come across the line with?
About a bit less than half a lap, I think I had.
Well, there's probably about a litre left in that tank, ladies. A bit less than a litre, so about 2 litres left in the tank.
Yeah, a bit, 2 and a bit litres I think I had left.
So you had a bit in the tank, so you were a lot more than what JP and I thought, and everybody else thought as well. So that's amazing, mate. Imola for you. I mean, it looked like you had the pace from the get go. You came out to a 12-second lead. What was all that about? Was that just go guns blazing? I know we had a little bit of a chat pre-race. Said there's a lot of strategies to go about. What are you looking at doing? And it was sort of up in the wind still. Once that green flag dropped and you got out to that 12-second lead, what was running through your head at that time?
Well, I wasn't pushing that hard. I was more just cutting the laps. I think me pulling away was more the guys behind fighting quite a lot. I was trying to save the tyres and a little bit of fuel, but I obviously needed to save a lot more fuel than what I was doing throughout that stint. But yeah, it was after the 12-second lead, I was just going to try and maintain the gap to the people behind and save more fuel, because that was when I realised I needed to save quite a lot more to make it home. But yeah, I got the drive through, and then that changed everything up, and then I just had to keep a cool head and make a couple of spots and save fuel.
It's sort of that win it or bin it. I'm gonna have to send it now and try and go for it as well as saving fuel, mate. You managed to do that superbly. Any sponsors you've got to thank, mate, on the back of that amazing victory of yours?
Yeah, just like to thank Abrasic Sim Racing and the team sponsors Goodyear, Autocare Rana, Real Sim Racing Australia, Racing Ears Custom Hearing Protection. and we support FU Suicide and hashtag No Social Hate. And just a shout out to my go-kart sponsors, Stratacore, Lex Custom Computers, Hillsville Australia, and Shockwave Signs. And shout out to you and JP, from SimShed Broadcasting, for putting on an awesome stream.
Good stuff, mate. Alan Dawson, mate. Any sponsors you'd like to thank tonight? We're going to let everyone get out at an early-ish night tonight. I mean, yeah, an early night for everyone, not just us in the broadcast booth finally, but for you drivers as well. I mean, you guys have been racing since 7:30. It's 2 hours on the knocker almost since you guys went green flag racing. Any sponsors you got like to thank?
The same. Custom Works, no social hate. Get it right. Boys taking me on and helping me out lately.
JD, mate.
I'd like to thank AutoServe that allows us to partner with Wins, Grip Clean, High Tech Oils, Wolf Jester, and thank you Black Wolf Graphics for providing us with our liveries. All the competitors in the series, commentators yourself, Matty, JP's been filling in while Reddit's away, and yeah, the man himself, JP. Thank you very much, guys.
Let's have a look at some unofficial championship points at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Boys, you probably want to have a look at these. These are going to get shaken around tonight a little bit, no doubt about that. A few positions lost, a few positions gained. 1,024 plays 968 points to Alan Dawson. So we're almost there. They're starting to stretch out quite a lot. I mean, the clean race bonuses are really starting to show at the moment as well, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no one had a clean race tonight. So that's a very big move around Imola. I thought there might have been a couple clean race bonuses being handed out, but tonight there's definitely none. David Nash sitting in third, so Alan Dawson finally checks out from David Nash. And Jamie Davis currently sitting in fourth, Dan Palomant in fifth, Tony Gaffer in sixth, Matty Monday, Jason Schooler, Lee Crowhurst, and Rod Hollers, ladies and gentlemen, rounding out your top 10. Let them scroll on through for you. Before we look into next week, it's going to be an absolutely cracking race. Which I think we're going to be heading over to, off the top of my head, I think we're heading back to the States. From memory, we'll get those up after the championship points are scrolled on through, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually, off the top of my head, I cannot exactly remember. Oran Park, actually, so we're heading back down under. So that's going to be an interesting one, boys. Alan, quickly from you, mate, your thoughts on Oran Park?
Oran Park is a good little track.
JD, I know we've had a couple of battles at Oran Park. What are your thoughts there, mate?
Is there a vote to skip button?
Mate, you've been doing that button quite a lot this season, and every time you say vote to skip, you've come up and seen us in the broadcast booth. So let's go.
No, not a huge fan of it.
Stebby, mate, what are your thoughts on Oran Park, mate? I've been coming back down under, coming back to Australian territory, off the back of what is an amazing victory tonight at Imola. What are your thoughts on Oran Park?
I quite enjoy Oran Park. It's quite a tight technical track. My dad's raced go-karts on there before, so I know he quite enjoys it, and he'll probably enjoy watching me race around there as well.
Stuff, mate. Awesome stuff. I'll let you boys go and head off, ladies and gentlemen, as we finish up the formalities tonight here as we look into next week and what's going to be coming up further down the track on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you to Sebastian Van Dale, Jamie Davis, and Alan Dawson, our podium, for joining us tonight, and a huge congratulations to Seb for taking out an amazing victory. As we go to tomorrow night with the Goodyear Auto Care Warana Super Series, headed off by Zach Haven and myself on Tuesday Night Motorsport. And then we head off on to Saturday Night Motorsport, ladies and gentlemen, for the Custom Paints and Diecast Australian Stock Car Championship. And that'll be brought to you live on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting for a bit of oval racing. And getting a message here from Jonathan Bain. So we'll jump over to that once I'm done here. That's going to be a fantastic race. And then join us back on Monday night for Real Sim Racing Australia Super 2 E Series. We head back down under, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Australian land for Oran Park. And then we dive back overseas and then come back at the end of the season for Bathurst. So that's going to be an amazing race. Obviously, none of this is possible, ladies and gentlemen, without our amazing sponsors with Real Sim Racing Australia, SimShed Broadcasting, FU Suicide, Goodyear Auto Care Warana, Track Cams 4 Gourmet for bringing you all the amazing camera angles that you see at Imola right now, especially this helicopter cam flying well above. SDK Gaming for the amazing overlays that we've seen tonight come up on screen. Overpass visuals for the amazing opening video, and then obviously singing as well. And that's amazing. Amazing stuff by the drivers tonight, though, JP. I mean, nothing better than seeing a race go safety car free on a sprint race, but to make an endurance race at such a tough track at Imola has been one to really top through the season. But for the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, it's just gone 9:31 p.m. on a Monday night. We'll let you guys get out of here nice and early. We're going to get out of here. So on behalf of myself, Matt Davis, JP, and the rest of the podium, and the whole entire of the Real Sim Racing Australia admin and drivers, we wish you a very good night, and we see you back here tomorrow night, Tuesday night motorsport. Good night.